What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. I'm the Star Wars EU teen. This kind of sounds like it's an introduction video. It's my first video, so it kind of is. At least my first review. It's not my first video. I've done videos before. But I'm going to start doing the reviews now. I want to start reviewing stuff because on my Instagram I talk a lot about the lore. On my Twitter I do a lot of apologetics and defending the EU. But here I kind of wanted to talk about the material itself. We're going over the books and comics as I read them. And I want to talk about the most recent comic I've read. It's this series right here, the Crimson Empire series. This is written by, I believe, and a lot of this footage will be unedited raw. I will edit stuff that needs to be edited, but just raw thoughts. Mike Richardson and Randy Stradley wrote the script, and Paul Galusi did the artwork, and of course Dave Dorman, legendary Dave Dorman, did the amazing cover art, and there's some back art there too. This is of course the trade paperback. I just finished it today, earlier today, and today meaning the day before you watch this. So let's kind of go over it. Let's go over the story for Crimson Empire. It's simple. It's a simple story. It's right after Dark Empire, and it really focuses on what happened to the Imperials, specifically the Royal Guards, of course. What happened to them after Dark Empire, because they were still in use when Palpatine came back. And this is really what happened after that. Well, in Dark Empire, if you remember, Palpatine's clones get tampered with. They get tampered with and they're not usable. And we actually find out who did that in the Dark Empire comics, and it was Carnor Jax. Carnor Jax, that's a good picture of him right there. He has very unique Imperial guard armor, but he's the one who did that. His whole deal was he wanted to become the leader of the Empire. That's his whole deal. And he does that by, well, he's trying to kill Palpatine, make sure he doesn't come back forever. And along with that, Jax is wanting to eliminate all of Palpatine's loyalties, everyone that's loyal to Palpatine, and of course he eliminates most of the Royal Guards because they're probably the biggest threat to him. One of the biggest threats to him is the Royal Guards to Palpatine. Of course, they were trained to fight Sidious, or to defend Sidious, not fight him. Kirkanos is the last of those guards. He survives, and he's actually on the run now from Carnor Jax. Kirkanos ends up getting involved with some New Republic agents that are on. There's this base on this planet. He gets involved with them, and it's kind of setting up to join. That he's going to join them. You know, your classic Imperial turned rebel. By the end of the comic, though, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen at all. In fact, during the final duel between Carnor Jax and Kirkanos, at the end, after Kirkanos wins, because he obviously wins, there's a Trandoshan named Skeet who's in this, and he tries to stop Kirkanos from killing Carnor, but Kanos kills Skeet, and then he says afterwards, I told him to not do it, and he did it anyway, so he got killed for it. So it really showed where his loyalty lied. His loyalty didn't lie with the Empire. It didn't lie with the New Republic. It lied with Palpatine. And now that he's dead, he really doesn't have any of the loyalties. So he kind of goes off into the sunset, and Mirith Sin, I believe her name is, she's kind of sort of a love interest, not really, kind of, for Kirkanos. She's like, I'm gonna get revenge for what he did to my friend, because Skeet and Mirith were friends, It was also cool for Skeet to have been a Trandoshan. I love Trandoshans, they're really cool to me, so it's cool to actually see more of them. What's interesting is that there's a lot of cool connections with this comic to other pieces of media. The Lusanka actually shows up. The Lusanka shows up, Wedge is in it. Of course, loads of Dark Empire connections, or especially early on. So there is connections to the X-Wing comics, X-Wing novels, specifically the novels, and of course the Dark Empire comics. And then in the next series, Crimson Empire 2, there's another connection that is amazing. I'm a huge NGO nerd. I love the NJO more than anything else in the EU. And there's, if you've read that, you know what I'm talking about. I haven't read it yet. That's my next read, Council of Blood. But Crimson Empire, what's so cool about it is I think Hyrcanos not joining the New Republic and just not joining either side is so cool because, like I said, the story sets up that he's going to become a New Republic agent or soldier or whatever it is, because, you know, it's not that he's allied with the New Republic, it's that he kind of is. He's allied with them only because they have a common enemy. Once that enemy is defeated, well, they're going to part ways. You know, he doesn't care what happened to the New Republic. You know, he's not New Republic. He's his own person. He doesn't care what happened to them. So I thought that was one of the best ways to end the comic was, and one of the best things that they could have done for Hyrcanos is he's not New Republic. He's not a rebel. He's not any of that. He is his own person. He's his own character. And he doesn't care about either side. He just had beef with Karnar Jax, and that's it. And once he's dead, you know, his mission has succeeded. He has successfully avenged the Emperor's death, or at least his fourth death. one of his other deaths. So it's really, really neat. And none of the main characters that are in it. Luke is mentioned, and he is shown in the flashback, but that's it. And then a Wedge this show up. I believe Garbella Bliss is in it as well. I think it's a picture of him. It's an artwork of him. You know, he hasn't any lines or anything. I think it's Garbella Bliss. If it's not, it may have been someone else. But overall, this is an excellent comic series. I believe it takes place, like I said, right after Dark Empire, but before the Jedi Academy trilogy. So you can kind of see it here. I would say probably about here, you can say. So here's, whoops, it's hard doing this backwards. Here's my Thrawn trilogy, and then Isar's Revenge. So it's somewhere in here. But it's after Dark Empire. So this is a great series. I loved it. I thought it was great. It's written very nice. The artwork, let me show you a good pic here of what I'm talking about. The art in this is great. There's a lot of also cool flashback sequences with Karnar and Hyrcanos, along with the Emperor and Vader. They're in this in flashbacks. But here's just some great art from the series. I love this series. I think the series is great. I think you should definitely go buy a copy. Here's some great art there. Exploding Star Destroyer with a shuttle, leaving it. Karnar Jax is very much, if I were to give him, like, to compare him to something, for some reason he reminds me of Kylo Ren. I was like, oh, you know, as an EU fan, it's kind of weird to say that, but he does in a way. He's very much reckless. He's kind of reckless. He's like, oh, I gotta get this done now. You know, that kind of person. He's not like a Thrawn character, but he is unique in the sense that he is a royal guard. So he's a very unique villain in that sense. Also believe a Star Wars gamer. I don't remember which one, but it's kind of retconned that his master, Karnar Jax, because Karnar Jax is Force sensitive. He's a Force sensitive human. His master that trained him, you know, because he not only did he want to become Palpatine's successor, he wanted to be a Sith himself. And his master was actually Lamia from the old Marvel comics, and later on Legacy of the Force. So she becomes Darth Caedus' master. So that's a little neat connection, because it's like, how did he learn the Force? Who taught him? Lamia did, and that makes sense because she was an apprentice to Vader and the Emperor for that matter. She was an Emperor's hand. I believe she was. I know she was a secret apprentice, not secret, but she was an apprentice to Vader. I don't remember if she was an Emperor's hand or not. Anyway, but she is the master to Karnar Jax, and basically one of her failed apprentices. And of course, her most successful apprentice would be Darth Caedus. So, you know, if you can't get the Emperor's Royal Guard on your side, okay, get Darth Vader's grandson on your side then. So and that's what she did. So I thought that was a really neat retcon. Again, she's not mentioned in here at all. That was a retcon made later on. Kind of like how Jarek's master was later retconned to be Jocasta Nu from the prequels. So, again, great comic series. Great. I think every Star Wars fan should read this. Again, it takes place around 10 or so years after Jedi. Maybe a little less than that. I mean, here, I'm going to show off some more Dave Dorman art because this is just excellent stuff here. So there's some art there. I love the training armor for Royal Guards. I believe that is Kirkanos. I don't remember who that is. It's not Connor Jackson, I know that for sure. Here's some more artwork. I love Kirkanos. He has that scar there. Really cool. I'll show you the last two here. 6 issues. Again, this is the trade. So, I think it's also important with comics to highlight the art here and the artists, because that's also what this book is. It's full of art. It's a comic book, right? So, always good to highlight the artists and to give them the credit that they deserve. So, yeah, that is my Crimson Empire review. Thanks for watching.